The entertainment world was just beginning to settle from the waves of surprise that hit it when Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan, two of China's biggest stars, publicly confirmed they had adopted a child together. Fans around the world were stunned, elated, and wildly curious. The child, whom they kept largely out of the spotlight, was said to be the glue that bonded them in a deeper, more profound way than ever before. But that joy turned into chaos when an unthinkable event shook their lives to the core. Their adopted son vanished without a trace. It was supposed to be a normal day. Xiao Zhan had just wrapped up a photoshoot in Hangzhou, while Wang Yibo was filming a new motorcycle stunt sequence for his upcoming action series. The couple had agreed to meet back home by evening. Their son, a quiet but intelligent 7-year-old named Rui, was with his personal bodyguard and tutor at their countryside villa, a place both stars had chosen for its privacy and serene environment. But by sunset, the unimaginable happened. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Xiao Zhan was the first to notice something was wrong. "Where's Rui?" he asked the housekeeper casually while removing his sunglasses and placing his phone on the marble counter. When he was met with silence and a panicked stare, he froze. The housekeeper trembled. "I thought he was with the tutor, sir." That's when everything spiraled. Wang Yibo, alerted through a frantic call from Xiao Zhan, dropped everything and drove nearly 200 kilometers at breakneck speed to get home. Upon arrival, the house was swarming with staff in confusion and fear. The tutor and the bodyguard were gone. Vanished. Rui's room was untouched, his plush toy panda was still tucked under the blanket. But his favorite sketchbook, the one he carried everywhere, was missing. Security footage showed something chilling. At 3:17 p.m., a black van with tinted windows approached the rear exit of the estate, a zone rarely used. Minutes later, the tutor and bodyguard were seen leading Rui into the vehicle. Rui wasn't struggling. He looked trusting, as if he knew whoever was inside. That clue sent shivers down Xiao Zhan's spine. They immediately alerted authorities, but the couple didn't stop there. Xiao Zhan, known for his calm demeanor, turned into a storm. He called in every connection he had, from private investigators to cybersecurity experts. Wang Yibo, visibly shaken but laser-focused, contacted an old friend who worked in a covert government intelligence unit. But the first 12 hours yielded nothing. Until a package arrived. No sender. No return address. It was a small box wrapped in newspaper, left at the front gate. Inside was Rui's sketchbook. Flipping through the pages, they found something that made Xiao Zhan collapse into a chair, his hands trembling, a drawing. Rui had drawn a man in a black mask, holding his hand, standing in front of a dark forest. The final page had a scribbled message in crayon. "Barber, he says I look like him." The blood drained from Wang Yibo's face. It couldn't be. 3 years ago, before adopting Rui, they had been approached by a woman who claimed Rui had been abandoned by her late sister, a single mother. But she refused to reveal the identity of the child's biological father. Now, it seemed the past had clawed its way back into the present. Fueled by panic, guilt, and a desperate desire to save their son, the two stars left no stone unturned. They took the sketchbook to a forensic artist, who cross-referenced the masked figure with known criminals and fugitives. A match came up: Liang Qingsen, a notorious black market trafficker who had disappeared from radar 5 years ago. He was known for abducting children with unique physical or intellectual features and selling them to elite underground buyers. Wang Yibo threw the chair across the room. "No one touches my son," he growled. That night, Xiao Zhan received an encrypted email. It was a video. Rui, sitting on a wooden floor in a dimly lit cabin, eyes red but brave, whispered, "Barber, don't worry. I know you'll come." They could hear someone approaching in the background, and then the video cut. With barely any rest, the two men went into full action mode. Using a combination of GPS metadata from the video, background sound analysis, and insider tips from Wang Yibo's intelligence contact, they triangulated the location to a remote mountainous village 2 provinces away. Against police advice, they set out themselves. The journey was treacherous. Their car broke down halfway, forcing them to commandeer a motorcycle. Yibo drove while Zhan clung on behind, the wind slicing their faces, determination burning in their eyes. Rain poured. The forest roads were slippery. At one point, they crashed and rolled into a ditch. Bruised and bleeding, they limped back onto the path, drenched but not broken. Hours later, just before dawn, they arrived at the cabin. They didn't wait for backup. They stormed in. Inside, a masked man stood, shocked. Rui was tied to a chair but unharmed. With a scream that could shatter stone, Zhan tackled the man while Yibo sliced the ropes off their son. Rui sobbed into Wang Yibo's chest, clinging to him like life itself. "I knew you'd come," Rui whispered. The man, now unmasked, was indeed Liang Qingsen, Rui's biological father. He had faked his death years ago and returned for the boy after discovering who had adopted him. "He was mine first," he hissed. "You took him from me." Zhan, bruised and panting, stared at him. "You abandoned him. We raised him. We love him." Police arrived minutes later. Liang was arrested, screaming threats. But the nightmare was over. The media exploded once news broke. Wang Yibo and Zhan saved their son in daring midnight rescue, read one headline. Celebrity parents face criminal father in heart-stopping confrontation, screamed another. But for the couple, none of that mattered. Back at home, Rui curled up between them in bed, a warm blanket wrapped around his small body. He clutched his panda toy in one hand and held both their fingers tightly in the other. "You're safe now," Zhan whispered. "I missed you," Rui mumbled sleepily. Wang Yibo kissed his forehead. "We missed you more." In the days that followed, the three disappeared from public view. A handwritten note was posted on both actors' social media. "Family comes first. Thank you for your love. Please respect our privacy while we heal." Fans around the world rallied behind them. #ProtectRui trended globally. Messages of love and support flooded their accounts. Artists began drawing tributes of the trio, calling them China's strongest family. And somewhere in a quiet house, hidden from the spotlight, a boy laughed again, his father's beside him, holding him close, never letting go. The race against time had been won. But the lesson was eternal. Love isn't just a word. It's a fight. A fire. A force that breaks through darkness, climbs mountains, and storms into cabins in the middle of nowhere just to bring one little boy back home. An even darker twist emerges in the most emotional race of their lives. The early morning after the rescue attempt, the world believed the nightmare was over. Wang Yibo and Zhan had brought their son Rui home. Social media was flooded with praises, emotional tributes, and hashtags celebrating the family's resilience. But what the world didn't know was that the real danger had only just begun. Rui had returned safe, physically, but emotionally, he was distant. Withdrawn. Something about his eyes had changed. He rarely spoke. He refused to eat unless it was food prepared by Zhan himself. He had nightmares, often waking up screaming, his coming, before curling into a tight ball. Wang Yibo, unable to sleep, sat at the edge of Rui's bed night after night. One evening, Rui whispered in a trembling voice, "Baba, there were others." Zhan entered just in time to hear that. "What do you mean others?" Zhan asked, his voice calm but his body stiff. Rui looked between them and slowly nodded. "There were other kids, in cages. He said I was the one who got away." Wang Yibo's jaw clenched. They immediately contacted the police, but no report mentioned any other children found in the area. Authorities insisted there was only Rui in the cabin. That didn't sit right with either of them. Zhan paced the living room, his thoughts racing. What if this was just a decoy? What if Liang Qingsen let Rui be found, to hide something bigger? Wang Yibo stood up from the couch, grabbing his keys. "Then we're not done." They knew they couldn't trust just anyone. This time, they reached out to a retired investigative journalist named Xiao, a woman known for uncovering child trafficking rings the government had once tried to cover up. She owed Zhan a favor after he supported her cause years ago through a secret donation. "I didn't waste time. There's a trail," she said, setting a thick folder on their kitchen table. Liang Qingsen was just one piece. "I've tracked his communications. He was working with someone in Hong Kong. A woman named Yang Shui, codename Mother Wolf. She's rumored to run a syndicate that sells children with celebrity lineage. The words made Xiao Zhan's stomach turn. Rui fit the profile. He wasn't just adopted by famous stars, he had since become a global symbol of hope. To the wrong people, he wasn't a child. He was a brand. She wanted him back, Mai added, not because of love, but value. Wang Yibo slammed his fist on the table. We need to find her. We end this. Not just for Rui, for all the kids. Within hours, they flew in disguise to Hong Kong under the alias of business investors. Accompanied by Mai and 2 trusted bodyguards, they traced Yang Shui to a private event, an elite art auction rumored to be a front for underground dealings. Wang Yibo wore a tailored black suit with a hidden earpiece, his usual stoicism now a razor-sharp edge. Xiao Zhan, blending in with a sleek grey coat and soft glasses, pretended to admire a sculpture while scanning the crowd. Then they saw her. Yang Shui, elegant, icy, with sharp eyes that flickered with power. She moved like a queen among pawns. They followed her discreetly to a private chamber behind the main gallery. What they discovered inside took their breath away. A hidden room, filled with photographs. Children. Profiles. Barcodes. And there, on a desk, Rui's photo circled in red ink. We have to expose this, Xiao Zhan whispered. But before they could act, the door slammed shut behind them. Yang Shui entered, flanked by 2 heavily armed guards. I should have known you'd come, she said coolly. Fathers of the year, aren't you? Wang Yibo didn't hesitate. Where are the other children? Yang Shui tilted her head, amused. Do you think this ends with one rescue? You 2 just poked the dragon. Before she could say more, Mai burst in with backup, men who weren't just bodyguards, but ex-military. A violent skirmish erupted. Glass shattered. Gunshots echoed. Wang Yibo tackled one of the guards while Xiao Zhan shielded Mai as she recorded everything on a hidden camera. Yang Shui tried to escape through a back door, but Xiao Zhan cornered her. You don't get to walk away, he hissed. She smirked. You still don't get it, do you? Rui was never just yours. He was part of something bigger. You think he's safe? You have no idea how deep this runs. Before she could reach for a vial hidden in her coat, cyanide, likely, Wang Yibo knocked it from her hand and pinned her to the floor. Police, alerted through Mai's emergency broadcast, swarmed the location minutes later. Yang Shui was arrested. The story exploded across Asia. Hollywood-level rescue by Wang Yibo and Xiao Zhan uncovers global child trafficking network. From stardom to heroism, duo brings down mother wolf. Exclusive, Rui was just one of many, the secret network exposed. But amidst all the headlines, all the interviews, all the global attention, Xiao Zhan and Wang Yibo disappeared from public life once again, retreating to the only place they felt safe, home. There, Rui finally smiled again. He began to speak more, to eat, to draw. His nightmares faded. And one evening, while sitting in the backyard under a warm sunset, Rui looked at them and asked, Baba, do I still belong to you? Xiao Zhan's eyes filled with tears. You always did, he whispered. Wang Yibo pulled Rui into his lap. And you always will. Though the storm had raged around them, though the shadows of the past had threatened to consume them, this family, forged not by blood, but by love, stood strong. And this time, no one would ever take their son again. If this story left you breathless, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more heart-pounding, emotional stories from the world of your favorite stars. Drop your thoughts in the comments, we read every one.